Ladies and gentlemen, we are back yet again for the third and final best of three series on the day. We've had such a long day, such a great day of Valorant, but challengers to main event day one ends here shortly. My name, Tanner, joined obviously by a Evil Cat or Mimi, and huge shout out to Kixtero for kind of holding down the fort until now. But now, Mimi, we get to close out the show.
Yeah, I'm super excited, dude. This has been a wild day of Valorant thus far. So many upsets going every which way. And I mean, to kind of break that all down, let's take a little peek at the bracket here because, I mean, going into today, I think the way these games panned out is probably weren't like quite what most of us were expecting. T1 beating out V1, sending them down here. TSM beating out Gen.G. I feel like there's a lot of TSM fans who had faith, but I'd consider that a little bit of an upset.
Yeah, I agree. I think that is a bit of an upset, although T1 on the rise, their first real showing against one of the highly, I guess, regarded teams was Envy, and they lost that series. So coming into this one, I also have to say to the matchmakers, I want to apologize to Kickstarter and Taro for having to go through that V1 T1 masquerade for all three maps. Just the names alone, incredibly tough. As we take a peek as we go down the board, Rise a 2-0 over FaZe, and
wow,
well, you guys just caught that one and the interview afterwards, which was pretty hype. Shanks has, I guess, high expectations for that squad, which then brings us a bit lower to where we are actually headed here down in that lower bracket. It's Gen.G taking on version 1, and this is a couple of names, version 1 more specifically, but a couple of names that you really hate to see starting, I guess, their run forward here in the lowers.
Yeah, I mean, it's a repeat of that previous main event, right? They get knocked down right away, have to play for their life in the lower bracket. Last time it was up against KCP. Now they have to do the same here up against Gen.G, a very tough opponent. But if we can take a little peek at the roster for this V1 squad, this is a chance for them to finally come back to that full strength, right? They had to summon Jammies for Iceland, and then Zelsis got suspended, so they were playing with a sub there. But now, for the first time in a while, we're seeing them with this full 5. That's of course of Effie's, Penny, Zelsis, Vanity, as well as Zelsis again. Apparently that got me tripped up, but we got a lot of Zelsis in the server.
We're missing Whippy.
We're
missing. This is they're putting a spin on We Are Zelsis. Eventually, we're gonna get to a showing of this that's just 5 Zelsis across the board.
All
yeah,
Zelsis.
That's where we are for the most part. Whippy is obviously minus here on that graphic, but like you said, Mimi, it's been a version 1 that we've seen. Obviously the higher highs at Iceland were kind of slowing down a little bit. They're starting to fall off a bit, but you also have to take into consideration, you know, what they've had to muster up, right? In the lows that they've had, it feels like they're still highs because of the, you know, the roster swaps, the Thief playing, the Jammies playing. Obviously no disrespect to those players, but it's just not the same as playing with your full 5.
Yeah, I mean, the changes have always been hard for this roster, but what has kind of held them together, it's always been Vanity calling. It's always been this structure. They're a very loose team. They're a team that's very focused on the mid-round, and that means they can be super flexible with their agent pools. Like, Jammies especially, he flexed onto the Viper here. Now Whippy's going back into that role. We have Penny staying in the mix. He's kind of been consistent as that Jet, and now Vanity's playing the Astra again. Like, they're just always changing it up. They're always trying something new, and if there's kind of one thing for me with this roster, it's the way they can flex. But that flexibility wasn't enough to start off. They got knocked down here against T1, a team who had struggled for so long, but finally they found their groove, and T1 gonna have to attempt to make the run. But their opponent in this lower bracket run is, of course, Gen.G, Tanner.
Yep, Gen.G coming into this one. I think the biggest thing for version 1 is they started off slow, and Gen.G need to look to capitalize that. As we take a peek at this roster, it's been pretty defaulted across the board outside of Nature now jumping on in, and I think has only leveled up the team from this point since joining. We were kind of talking about this before the show, but Nature, I believe it was Guimond who was calling, and I'm not too sure between the two who's doing it now, but at the very least, it's another voice, right? Nature coming from Immortals, being that IGL in the squad, now kind of having just another brain to pick from for this Gen.G team. I think it bodes really well, and I think Gen.G is also a team that is just within arm's reach. Every single time they're within arm's reach, and they have just fallen short. And taking a peek at, I mean, Nature's addition to the team and what we've seen in just the most previous series with TSM, that seems to be kind of the player that will help them reach out and grab finally something that matters. And more specifically in this one of those top 4 spots that will put you into playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, that's what everyone is playing for here. And for Gen.G, it's like they're always that one step away from the next big success. They were 3rd place at the first Masters. Then they come into these Challengers events, and they're always like that 5th place. They're always in the round of 16. They're one step away from qualifying to the next big thing, but then just fall short. It's a roster that has had so much potential. They took that map off Sentinels last time. They beat out Rise, a Rise that's been looking fantastic before falling to NV. And I feel like they have all the pieces there. They've just struggled to put them together properly. But 2 of the players that we've talked a little bit about, we can take a little peek at in our head-to-head. And I mean, to take a peek here, GMD, FE's two really big players for their respective squads.
Yeah, absolutely. And the first thing that comes to mind when you take a look at these 2 names is both of these players have that it factor. GMD on the day looked incredible, only topped, I believe, by Nature, who had a fantastic game on Split on the KO, but that game also went 44-ish rounds, right? So you're kind of expecting some players to have those star performances to be a bit higher in the ACS, but GMD has been so clutch as a whole on the day specifically, and I think FE's overall is kind of that player for version 1 when, you know, down in a 1v2, a 1v3, or if you are, I guess, on the lesser end and you have FE's by your side, you can almost guarantee that is going to be a version 1 round.
Yeah, and I mean, for FE's, he was one of those players, like we talked how version 1 switches around a lot, but this guy's just been a consistent Sova main for pretty much as long as I can remember with V1. He's really strong on the agent. He has all the nerdy lineups, and he's strong in the clutch. We saw it at Iceland. I think he was one of the top performing clutchers for this squad in that situation and at that tournament. They did fall flat in that 5th place, but still, it was a crazy showing out of all of these folks. But let's take a little peek at where we're headed for this specific best of 3 in OEM maps.
The maps, we were back and forth as to where we were going to go on this, but Breeze, to kick things off, it's untouched by version 1 in officials. Haven gonna be next up, followed by Ascent. The bands you guys can see down there in the bottom left, Icebox and Bind, which leaves Split just kind of left by the wayside. Nobody wanted to touch that one, which is surprising, right? Obviously seeing Breeze a surprise, but I think Ascent was not a map that we were expecting to get to, and we still might not, but for it to even be in this pool over Split, I mean, how is version 1 feeling about Split nowadays? You know, it was a really strong map for them previously. They just lose on it, and it seems like this map pool specifically just totally been shaken up.
Yeah, it's a weird one. I think bringing up that point of the second map here, Haven, it's not a terrible one for them, but it's not the best. They beat LG recently, but they also just lost out to T1 in that first series. They lost out to 100 Thieves in the last event, and I don't know, it almost feels like a little bit of a vote of confidence that they lose to T1, but they're coming back at it. They have confidence in their Haven. They want to give it another run, but if we pull more generally to this map pool, I feel like if you're V1, it almost has to be the 2-1 here if you want to take the series, because those last 2 maps bode very well. Ascent has been banned a ton out of this Gen.G squad. They don't play it very often whatsoever, and for V1, it's a pretty strong map for them. We saw it a lot in Iceland. We've seen it a lot throughout Challengers with this squad, and same thing with Haven. I wouldn't call it their best. I think that Icebox and Split generally considered there, but Split off the table, and they're just not feeling or excuse me, Icebox off the table, and they're just not feeling the Split today. So Haven there as well. I think that's going to really be the swing point. That's the map in this pool that feels the most even, whereas Ascent pretty one-sided for V1, and well, this first map in Way of Breeze, we know nothing about what version 1 might be pulling out.
Yeah, that's a difficult one, right? Because Gen.G, they've only got a few plays on it, but a few is more than 0, right? So that obviously has that kind of comfortability, and I think that since Zelsis has kind of jumped back on the squad, the most recent plays, it's kind of been Sentinel duty, right? We usually on Haven would see sometimes a Phoenix come out. Maybe we thought we'd see the KO pop on out. So I'm interested to see not only how they rework Zelsis into things as the meta keeps developing, but now how they do it here on Breeze. And well, all of our questions will be answered. It's actually Zelsis on the sky here. So they're still rocking the KJ. It's going to be FEs on that. And man, I feel like everything's kind of gone out the window because we were talking about FEs being a Sova Andy. Now FEs on the Killjoy. And I mean, this is what Breeze brings to the table here for Valorant.
Yeah, I really love the Sky pick here, though. out of Zelsis. He hasn't played a whole ton of this guy recently. Like we said, he's been playing a lot of the Killjoy, but it's been a while since he played an official. I'm sure they've been scrimming with this comp, been testing it out, and I think that she's a very strong agent on this map. It's a little interesting that they're going for that Soul Initiator and leaving the Sova off, but the information out of Zelsis can be huge. The other thing that really strikes me is the controllers we're looking at, because both sides got the Viper. That's bog standard, but then you have GMD on the Brimstone, you have Vanity on the Astra. Both these characters, you don't see him too often on this map.
No, you don't at all. And no, now with Breeze being as big as it is, I like the Astra in the sense that you can use those stars more specifically as just utility. Now it stings that the time is increased. I believe it's 25 seconds on both the Gravel and the Nova Pulse, but Breeze is big. There's only so many spots that people are going to play, especially at the start of rounds, right? B, you have basically alongside that left wall, a couple of angles to play, and then close right, maybe inside the tunnel. On the A site, you've got right behind the pyramids to try and peek, triple box or that tall box off to the right. So I think with that, although it does seem, I guess, daunting to think about, like, wow, how do I actually make use of my ability? When you're taking a peek at teams, especially for version 1, Gen.G have tape here. So version 1 maybe have crafted this comp specifically to the way that Gen.G have played this one, and the Astra is such a large tool. But we get to jump on into it. The pistol round to get underway. The loser not only gets sent home, but their run to Berlin ends short. We'll see who that is going to be in this best of 3 series.
You see early on here, it's aggression up towards mid, but that long wall out of V1 is keeping Gen.G at bay. It's Penny tucked in on this agent, and I mean, talk about Jets. Penny's not on it, but nature is a bit unusual for the guy. Normally flexing around the support roles, but he does it occasionally, and he's on it for a reason. There's still just this standoff transpiring, but there's lots of space made up towards caves. This is the looks of an A split, and that wall dropping will be the hallmark.
Now pushing through the smoke. The Sky's gonna hop on the board. FBs goes big from 2 with the Ghost as Nature trades it back. And I mean, FB's just going unanswered for now. A huge round from the Killjoy here. Typically the Sova, when you don't use the utility, comes down to the gunplay, and we see exactly why FBs is regarded as high as he is. As Nature swaps on over to the Ghost, the last one standing in a 1v2. Has a lot to get done here, being the new player on the block, but just can't do it. Version 1 will steal the pistol.
Yeah, it's a really strong pistol there out of V1. I mean, Gen.G, I feel like the information was given over quite early. They had that heavy presence out towards mid. They pop up the wall and just try and contact their way through, but where it all goes wrong was the attempted aggression. Sean puts a flash on through that Vipers while they attempt to go up through it, but sometimes you just cannot answer for FEs on that Killjoy. Great work to him to start things strong, as it'll be Gen.G knocked down onto just these classics. Goodbye here for V1.
And so for this matchup specifically, as much as Gen.G fans want to see Gen.G finally reach out and touch success, there's a lot of weight riding on the shoulders of version 1 specifically. Yeah. So when you're taking a peek at this one, it has to be version 1. In the world of NA Valorant, everybody expects so much, so the weight on their shoulders, a lot of it could be lifted here in this one if they can continue moving forward, and picking up that pistol was the best way to do it, as Gen.G strength in numbers out towards mid. They've gained a nice bit of ground, obviously not much to be had off of it, but 3 players out inside the tunnel. Nice guiding light, gonna find a flash onto 1 as Vanity backs away, grab well, Nebula gonna go up on top of it, and the Ghost is gonna be able to find a frag to the shins of GMD, but they're traded right back to pistols. Starting to come online at the very least. Gen.G awarded a spike plant.
Yeah, and Sean has a weapon here, still healthy, and a bird just recharged. That flash available for a tad of aggression. Penny knows a lurk is coming, but Kusta might have just found a timing here. Makes sound, can't find the frag. Now it's left to 2, but Sean might just have the play. Finds one, needs to spray away.
Oh my god.
And Sean somehow has 4. The recovered weapon does it all. And Gen.G, off of just classics, pull off the Thrifty.
Off of just classics and that upgraded weapon, and on top of that Thrifty victory, Sean now has the Seekers online. Shouldn't need it in this round, but that's a huge ultimate to have, especially on this attacking side. You can play right behind it as we get another peek at Sean just holding it down there. The crosshair not moving, finding 3 frags on the round, and it swings so much momentum the way of Gen.G.
Yeah, I mean, look, they only have like one player holding onto the weapon. Everyone else fully invested on rifles and they have tons of money in the back pocket. 4v1. What can they get done here? A thrifty right back at Gen.G looking unlikely. Rounds like those are the ones that you really look back at and regret because it can change the tides of an early game here. The A site already mostly under the control of Gen.G. It's just Effie's anchored up towards Halls and ooh, they're just back to back. GMD still not aware of his opponent, but now spot Effie's out, take him down. It's a full retake on just the classics. Vanity with the Marshall, only real weapon in this.
And sometimes the stack just doesn't go your way. It's exactly the way things shook out here for version 1. So maybe just looking to do some damage here on the way out as GMD. Thinking about hopping through the vent after hearing the footsteps. Vanity goes wide. Like you said, the only player with the weapon was the Marshall in hand, now stripped away as Gen.G, after a thrifty round win, gonna find quite possibly a flawless, and I didn't even say it, Mimi. I was thinking the word flawless, and then Whippy ends up finding a kill. I telepathy right there. I telepathically caster curse Gen.G.
Wow.
Either way, they steal away the round, and they should have enough credits to get another rifle in the hands.
Yeah, that they should be able to. I mean, Gen.G's money is going to be feeling fantastic here. For V1, they'll have the opportunity to buy back in and find themselves a bit of redemption. What we saw in that early pistol round was really fantastic from V1, right? They just hunker down pretty deep, use the Sentinel to good effect, and are able to counter out Gen.G when they get aggressive. Gen.G, I mean, they have the sky. They like to take the fights. It's what you get when you get that Initiator and that Jet combo. So V1 want to see how they can adapt around this, as it's the Trailblazer from Sean out early towards A, but doesn't spot any information. Celsius still unknown, and I love this from Michael. Just the cheeky little cam up top to hold down mid completely.
And maybe one to add to your toolbox back at home, especially when you take a peek at, you know, Breeze as a whole. It's hard to get the value out of the Sentinel players, and well, there's a whole lot. You don't need anybody out towards mid, just the cam to work as another set of eyes. The Seeker goes through information to be garnered off the back of that one, but because they were tossed out towards B, it's drawing a rotation. Version 1 bringing a player on over in Effie's. Now gonna head back towards the A side, expecting that to be just a bit of an attention bind. And you take a look at Kyle here out towards mid. Could have, quite honestly, one of the most important positions here, stopping the rotate from coming over. And I say most important positions, that's only if Whippy doesn't go huge here and finding
30 seconds left.
Everybody from Gen.G rotating over through tunnel.
Oh, he really has to get it done. Kusta, does he check the corner? He won't, but another player does. V1 find 2 elsewhere, but the site is secured by Gen.G. Viper still alive to work within this post plant, and that duo of Sean and Nature available to take the fight if necessary. Vanity recalling those stars, getting them queued up, but he's caught off guard. Nature finds him in the elbow. Now this slowly turns towards Gen.G's favor.
Yeah, and one player off the site bodes so incredibly well. Nanostorms from Effie's unfortunately going to get shot down, so can't force Sean out of the corner. Zelsis looks for some damage through the half wall. All 3 players are stacked up towards the wall for a second, but we know that's a bad place to be in. While a guiding light and a flash going to close things out. Kusta with a huge round, picking up 3, silencing the rifles of version 1 and helping Gen.G to their 3rd.
Did they put so little utility into trying to fake out that A site, right? It's just GMD there, making some noise, popping out some smokes on the Brimstone, and, well, it's a huge rotation drawn out of version 1. They're forced to play this retake, and I think this frag in towards elbow is so crucial from Nature. He knew someone had to get aggressive and make the play, and once the odds are evened, the amount of utility left in the post plant is so hard to contend with. V1 again, reset onto the lesser arms here to Spectre, bunch of shares to try and get it done as they're getting aggro down Halls here. Effie's has that turret for first contact, and 2 will likely be able to swing off of it. GMD might just be that victim.
One picked up. Doesn't feel terrible, especially given the economy that version 1 had. You obviously would have liked to have had a whole lot more. Whippy looks to find something else here with the Sheriff through the... Oh no, the flash right in the face, but he's still able to find one, just sending it there fully blind, understanding that he's probably not long for this world as Sean closes us out once more. Zelsis and Vanity push onto the site, but only their demise. 4-1 now the scoreline. And Mimi, this is... So, this is getting scary because I think version 1 if they're going to get it done, it's on defense. That's what we've seen on the day.
Yeah.
And they're not giving themselves a whole lot of breathing room for the attacking side here.
Yeah, they really are not. I suppose one of my questions still with this comp is how is Vanity going to continue to use this Astro? Because I feel like he hasn't had that many opportunities to actually get that util out. You see, in this round, it's mostly postured out towards that B site, so using it really just for himself and for Effie's support, but zoning in on the round more generally. A pit goes out towards A main, locks down a large swath of the map in nature, still holding. It's a slow round out of Gen.G, but they have tons of mid control to work with.
That would have been a huge pickup, especially since that guiding light didn't get the information that Zelsis was looking for, but the op shot goes wide. I can't imagine we see another duel out towards Halls. Gael gets spotted out by the turret, takes a little bit of damage, able to back away. And made ship damage thus far early in the round. Now we get, quite nearly a point-blank fight, and it's Vanity to come out on top, make it 2 for the Astra. Now the grab well to slow things down, maybe looking for some more, but in a tough spot as Nature slowly swings around, but the teammate is here to back him up. Vanity for 3, and everybody getting mowed down as Vanity will find his 4th. Give him the ace here as Zelsis falls, a near flawless. Kusta picks up another, and Effie's forced to close it out. A decent round from version 1 to battle back.
Yeah, I mean, a huge round out of Vanity specifically. They needed someone to make that play, to push things into their favor, and Vanity found his opportunity. They've been giving up so much mid control, so he was fully aware that Gen.G could have that space. Sees the cage forward, catches an opportunity as it fades, and, well, the rest is history. V1, now it's more of a question of consistency because they're yet to break Gen.G's economy. They'll have it for a couple more rounds. That's off of that early second round win that they found. Nature still on the op and ults aplenty. They're looking to go quick towards A here.
That Trailblazer doesn't find a whole lot onto this site. But maybe allows for some free passage. Gael pushed up inside. This is going to be a dead giveaway if he hits that door, and they've got a player just on the other side in Penny to be able to close that one. We've seen that strategy before. And this is a nice camera angle here, so Mikael can kind of just hang out, trying to get a tag or get some information as somebody pushes in. Vanity just going to be holding it down, though. And this is one of those situations where, hey, just shoot through the wall, man. Just shoot through, just give it a little, love tap, a little spray, and do the thing that the pros do, right? They just shoot through stuff.
Well, wall comes down now. Oh, Mikael's still unaware. Vanity's toying with the idea. You can see it. Oh, he does spray through the wall, but not enough. Still unaware of Vanity. The blades are out. The Brimstone ult is out. Gen.G putting everything into this execution, and Nature finds a huge frag. Mikael as well. It's waiting to reply, but it's Gen.G just fighting forward. Sean for 2. Effie's alone. 1v3, but all his opponents are wounded, and he still has this lockdown to work with.
Yeah, and this is the player, right, that we talked about to kick off the show here, or kick off the series, I should say, is if Effie's is still alive, you still have faith that it's a version 1 round. Unfortunately, there's a lot working against the Killjoy here, and although having that lockdown in hand, there's not a whole lot of time. He's going to hop on out here, cross, narrowly miss out on the sightlines of Sean, but only for a moment. It's Sean to close us out once more. Another 3K here for the Sky on Breeze as Gen.G will nab another.
Yeah, I mean, I initially thought they were going to go fast with that execution, but that's really not Gen.G, right? Like, they love just playing the mid round a little bit. Send someone up on the lurk. I mean, Mikael has literally been in halls or mid pretty much every single round. This guy is always working some form of lurk, finding some bit of information. And he just does that little pot shot at Vanity, just pokes the bear a bit, and then the execution goes out. Yeah, they committed a ton of ults into that one, I think 3 in total, but a round is a round. And right now, what's most important for Gen.G is just keeping the momentum on their court, as they've done just that. V1 down again to these pistols. Vanity has a judge, but might not be in the perfect position to use it. As long as they execute B, though, there's a chance he can get some work in.
Trailblazer going to buy out an early Nano Swarm, so Gen.G in their slow ways able to nab away some of that utility from the side of version 1, and gonna find some dents in the armor, gonna weaken the defense. Obviously that defense heavily weakened
Ooh.
It's noted in the pistols. As I say that, FE is able to pick up one. Unfortunately, the backstab not going to land for anything else there. Now it's down to the last two. Whippy, 1 HP. A sheriff shot from Zelsis could do it, but the guiding light in response as Sean will take down his counterpart. Now works 1 pip away from the Seekers. A 1v2 situation. It's fairly even, right? As far as HP goes. Outside of the arsenal, you know, you've got Whippy now with a weapon, but only 1 health. Vanity fully healthy, left. Whereas Sean, 46 HP, and Nature, excuse me, the healthy one here. So rotation over towards the A site. That spike to get planted. The version 1 completely split across the map, and Vanity might not be long for this world. Expecting them to be playing together. Unfortunately, just not the case as the Seekers come through. Whippy's position slowly going to be given away here. It's only 1 health. It's Nature to peek the angle. Nature to find the frag, and Gen.G to pick up their 6th.
I love the play there from Gen.G. They know that Nature can plant for those long sight lines and just hold it down safely with the operator. You leave a bit of a hero play there for Sean to get done, and he finds it. Able to pick up the frag, earns the Seekers off of that one, and even though the Seeker didn't get deep enough to actually reveal the position of Whippy, you can see it curving on the minimap, so you know which angle to hold, and Nature locks it down well with his operator. Now, 4v1, they're back onto the weapons, and they've put some pretty heavy resources out towards A. That wall a lot deeper this time, so maybe allowing a bit of an extension forward, but not to be just yet. V1 still giving a lot of respect over to Gen.G, and while still giving all this mid control.
And the wall goes up. It's taken down almost immediately, so quite a bit of information coming out to version 1 that they're looking. Gen.G, that is, they're looking to split to say, and that is just the worst feeling in the world. That's the thing that the pros do, right? They just spray through the wall, they spray through the smoke, they're able to find the frags. Penny able to trade 1 back. Vanity gonna pick up another. Okay, it's Penny and Vanity to go huge in this round. Zelsis holding it down for just a second. They cut it down just to GMD, who unfortunately does not have the spike in hand. It is a player that does have that wow factor, has been huge on the day-to-day specifically. We'll see if we can keep that momentum moving forward. Still healthy, still an incendiary and a couple of stims to work with, but unfortunately 3 players to worry about.
I love this little jump up. You can see above that lip, try and garner some information, and he catches the timing with the flash, not revealed, and now he can start to walk up from mid. Zelsis, wary of a flank out through the halls, so GMD, it's just a matter of timing. Smoke's no longer available, and now he's giving away the game. V1 will start this rotation and should be ready to lock it down. This task, so tall for GMD.
And with 15 seconds on the clock here, trying to send something through the nebulous. Gravity well going to pull him in. GMD is able to walk away from it. Now we'll try to escape, and fortunately has a route as nobody on the flank just yet, or nobody out towards mid. All 3 on the site from version 1. Will allow the Brimstone to stay alive. They secure themselves around with 3 remaining here in the half. So 6-6, Mimi. It's still on the table.
Yeah, that it is. And for V1, I mean, they just kind of kept up with what they've been doing and were able to win out on the gunfights. It was a rather passive hold out towards A, but the second that Viper utility is down, they're there for the brawl and are able to take care of it. And a bit of an interesting one from Gen.G. We've seen GMD lurking some of these rounds, not quite as consistent as Miguel on the Cypher, but he attempted to get something done in mid, and well, as his team died out towards A, there was nothing to finish off. And part of the reason that fracture keeps being caused is Penny's wall towards barn doors. He's put it up almost every round, and it's consistently found impact to delay any splits towards A.
And I feel like incredibly passive positions here on the A site, right? Nobody peeking directly into main. They're looking to just play off the information that they're going to garner from this alone as Whippy gets caught out playing towards that mid-site area. Seekers online for Zelsis as Penny will find another one. And Gen.G, they keep running at the A site, but they keep having to answer for it as the op shot goes wide, narrowly missing out. Vanity's able to answer back with a headshot of his own, and they're all starting to get gunned down. It's all up to GMD again in a 1v3, but just can't do it. Doesn't have the space to stay alive this time around as version 1 will grab another.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like V1 are starting to sort out this A site, and the answer just seems to be utility, utility, utility. It's the early Vipers wall up. You see the snake bite that they're forced to push straight on through, and then there's flashes for re-aggression. Zealous is just on the spam, and it's a good look out of V1. They're taking all these duels without too much risk to themselves, and that's in part in Gen.G's camp, because there was a couple peaks taken there that might have been a little overzealous, where you're taking that duel with no support, not a ton of trade potential, some things to tighten up for Gen.G, but for version 1, they're really starting to feel it. Operator in Vanity's hands on that Aster. He does it sometimes, not on every map, but can always be a bit of a treat to see as he's contesting down mid. Nature might be up to bat. Oh.
Here it is, up close and personal with the Operator. The Jet gonna peek. The Astra doesn't have a real way to get away, and well, there's the answer as Kusta battles back with the Bulldog. This time around as an Nano Swarm gonna try and push him back, but with the information into the ground, covered through tunnel. Mikael able to find the backstab and open up the B site. They look for more. Mikael gonna get a little too aggressive. Be forced to answer to Penny, who now has the Resurrection online, but a Viper's Pit from Kusta should be able to lock this one down. The spike is ticking. In a 3v3 situation, the snake bites thrown on through. The guiding light to the opposite side, not gonna find too much. Vanity to make his way back into the game, and I believe still gonna have that Operator in hand. It's a bit harder to work through that pit with the Operator, and GMD looking for the 3 kills he needed a few rounds ago, only able to pick up 2 of 3, but leaving it into the hands here. Kusta now with 30 health. The pit goes down, the Molotov goes out, the shots around the corner. Kusta gets it done. Gen.G to 7.
Oh, with the Red Bull clutch of all things, Kusta able to pull it off. He won. The retake was looking so strong, but it was just a bit too delayed. GMD's position, able to buy the initial time, and I love that he drops the pit there, right? It's on his own volition. He didn't have to drop it. He could have stuck around, but it's a bit of a mind game. Then V1 starts to think, oh, maybe he's back playing for lineups and just try and hold on to the spike, but he denies it on out and shuts it down. Gen.G just continuing to look good here.
To top it off there, to steal away that momentum that you stole in the anti-eco round early, right? Version 1, they lose a bit after the pistol, and then they start to get it back, but it takes a Red Bull clutch to come on out here as we find ourselves in the last round of the half. 7-5, the best version 1 could hope for, and I guess now to kind of be hopeful, looking to go into the next half. 7-5 here on Breeze. We haven't seen it from version 1 just yet, so maybe they do have some powerhouse plays on their attack, but it's all about this round here to get as much as you can, and well, it's all here in the hands of Effys for now, who's still sitting on the lockdown, trying to hold an angle. The orbital strike comes out towards the A site, and well, that's just a fake. It might buy a rotation. No, off the back end of that one, Vanity actually heading on over towards B, so the Seekers come through. Effys now in a tough spot. The Nano Swarms to buy some space for now as the Trailblazer goes through. Vanity on the rotate, able to find one. Penny holds it down, picks up GMD on the lurk. So a 2-for-1 trade as Gen.G storm onto the side. Vanity to recall the stars and wait for the team to bring up the rear.
Oh, he has the Cosmic Divide here. Pops it very early. This allows them to get forward, but what they might not know is the position of Sean. Sean knows someone needs to take a fight, and it's an attempt at being him. The swing forward. Nature finds one. Bladestorm online now as it's Kusta. His own position turns the flash, but no push through. Both these Gen.G members playing this close to their chest together. It's the right click. It's Nature to find it. Penny and Whippy lone, both still behind the divide. The orb goes up. It's something for Nature to play around, but it'll fall soon. He dashes forward, right click there. The second misses. Classic out, but it's not enough. Penny in the 1v1 to close out the half. 5-7 for V1.
Wow, and that was an explosive round. That's also a situation, Mimi, where that Cosmic Divide, sometimes it doesn't feel like the best ultimate in the game, but hey, at the end of the day, it works out, and version 1 do get the best they can in that 7-5 at the half.
Yeah, I mean, for Gen.G, it was just looking so strong early on there. They're able to win that round with just classics, and I love the pacing they take throughout this attacking side. It's very slow. They put a lot of emphasis into the lurks, but we'll have to see, is Gen.G able to close out their map pick, or will version 1 bounce back and find Breeze? That's coming up right after this break.
Jumping right back into the action, 7-5 with Gen.G in the lead is where we left off. And now version 1 get to try again, this time on the attacking side here on Breeze. I mean, I'm excited to see this one because we have not seen it just yet. Actually was the first defensive side we've seen from version 1.
Well, it's been the first everything out of V1 on this map, and what's interesting is it's the no duelist comp. How are they going to apply this to the attacking side? I think we look to Penny and to Zelsis in being those space creators, especially Zelsis with the flashes. He had a rough first half, but this is his time to shine. This is where the aggression is everything, and he needs to start popping. The new guy, or not even new, the guy back into the team has the pressure with him, as it looks to be another A split. And I mean, for Gen.G, they have a very different hold than V1 was showing. It's a Brimstone out forward, and it's Mikael with the cam.
And that Brimstone, Sky Smoke lasts so long, right? The agent itself, well, speaking of Brimstone, taken down as Vanity finds another. This one out towards mid. Who's able to trade that frag back, but it's looking pretty poor here on the side of Gen.G for now. And this is why you hear that 7-5 lead doesn't really feel like a lead, especially if you lose the pistol here. And well, Nature underneath half HP, only alive for a moment longer. As a classic here from Kusta, needs to go huge for 3 kills on the round, or else version 1 will find it. Yet another pistol here on Breeze. They're not out of the woodworks just yet. We saw the anti-eco go the way of Gen.G, so they need to lock it in here to tie us up.
Yeah, that they will, but I love the strat they showed in the pistol round. It's a pretty simple thing. We see a lot of teams do it, but it's leave one mid and then just walk up halls. The halls play for Mikael was just one trip. No one was physically watching it, so they plopped the wall up to deny the rotation from spawn side, and they're able to pinch out past that door. It's a really hard crunch to contend with if there aren't already rotators on standby back towards spawn, and V1 played it to perfection. Now, it should be a simple task, right? Don't get eco. Don't lose to pistols, yes. But we've seen it happen before. However, this one might be a tad bit easier for V1 because the site they're destined for completely open. Gen.G, they're just playing as a pack of wolves out towards mid.
Yeah, and that you get the complete inverse. I'm gonna hold that thought as Vanity mows down one. This bonus round of this anti-eco, from version 1, also a bit stronger than the last with an Ares and an extra Bulldogs. Kusta is able to find one. It's 2 kills away of Vanity in a tough spot for the Ares. It does look like Kusta wants to try and pick that one up as Mikael dances around the barn doors. And, well, not long for this world as the Ares not picked up. It's Nature, the last one standing. Just a classic, looking to do some more damage. And able to strip away one of those Spectres. So 3 more players to worry about. The full HP Jet. Okay, that was looking scary for a second. The precision from Nature for a moment doesn't end up going his way. We're all tied up at 7s, but to kind of go back to that anti-eco point, when you're on the attacking side and you're on the pistols, you have the strength in numbers no matter what, right? So that's what Gen.G did, whereas now that they're on the defense on pistols, you guess and you 50-50 if you have the strength in numbers or not. And that time obviously didn't go their way, but here we go. Now both teams get to actually play the game, except Vanity hanging onto a Marshall coming into this one. So we'll see how this bonus goes.
That we will. I mean, Zelsis has been able to invest on into the Phantom, so definitely a man to look towards in this round. You see GMD with an aggro smoke in halls, and he's playing forward off it. It's a bit of a different setup. Previously, they've just left the tripwire here to hold, but this time there's a player, and talk of extensions, there's also one down mid. Gen.G have so much space right now in V1. They're starting to get boxed in towards A. You see rotates already starting to come forward. There's 2 players ready on this A site now, and 1 close in halls.
Cage triggered. Cage goes up. It's going to buy a bit more time, keeping version 1 at bay, which, like you said, it only keeps them more boxed in. There's only more space to be gained. GMD maybe getting a little love up towards the tube. He's going to open the door, but close it right after. Vanity picks up one. They catch the Brimstone, leaving halls, and now it's Gen.G on the back foot. Although the Arsenal in their favor, they are down in manpowers. Nature goes up top. And here's a player romping and stomping as that wall goes through. Can just play the door game. It's a guiding light. Able to find a flash, but nothing really given just yet. It's 30 seconds on the clock. They push onto the site, but they just get mowed down. Mikael for 3. leaving it all into the hands of Penny, who unfortunately was playing his own game up inside the hall. Now has 3 players of his own to worry about, and it's Kusta to close us out. Gen.G on the defense will find their first round.
Well, I just talked about how tough that split can be to shut down, but they do it perfectly there. Someone is set up just to contain the door, deny someone from pushing in from halls, and off of the call that someone is halls, that's when the players on the site go forward and find their own aggression. Sean with the flash, Mikael to follow it up, and V1 was dead on arrival. And I mean, we talked about it earlier in the round, but it all started because Gen.G's playing the map. They're getting aggressive in these rounds and taking space, something V1 wasn't doing too much of on their gun rounds.
Not at all, and it's refreshing to see coming out from Gen.G as well. Usually slower in their plays. We're playing a bit more default, a bit safe, but here on Breeze feeling a whole lot more comfortable. And I mean, if you don't have the pedigree here on Breeze, what do you know, right? How do you play this map? You just look to find these hits, and well, unfortunately, they're starting to get answered as they come on through. Mikael gonna go right back to his fragging ways, picks one up onto Penny's land. That's now the Sage down as they march through the Viper's pit. Whippy now in advanced position, doesn't spot Mikael, just under. The Cypher goes undetected, but knows all. He gets traded back. 2 kills on the round. Kusta to answer for another. Now the Marshal from Vanity gonna find something at the very least, maybe some damage to that frag onto the low HP GMD. With rifles in hand coming into this round off the bonus. Version 1 starting to fall apart here. A guiding light and a next kill as Vanity falls. Gen.G pushed to 9.
It's just such a clean round out of Gen.G. V1, they tried to make a sneaky play. They tried to push their way on through that pit, but I mean, right now, Sean and Mikael are just not letting them into this site. And you have a pit to work with as well. Of course, they're not going to find success. V1, I'd love to see them putting a bit more of an emphasis on this mid control, because now in both halves, they've been generally leaving it uncontested, and Gen.G, just off of positioning one player out mid, oftentimes that's nature, they completely can know that mid's not on the table and that they can just stack resources towards each site, and any aggression out towards B, and it's 100% that it's going to be an A push. V1, generally a team that's so good at playing this map control, has been struggling with it. Now they'll change. One player out towards mid. It's a full default for V1, but it's just an eco. Vanity, yet another Marshal to work with here.
And that Marshal, very prevalent here on Breeze. Usually forced up, and I mean, just about the same price as the Sheriff now after the changes. I believe only 150 credits separating the two. A couple of kills swing the way of Gen.G. This round surely could go their way. It's their round to win here. It's all down to the last in Effie's. And able to find one. Okay, not a bad start here to chip away at the economy. Unfortunately, not enough to keep going as Nature picks up 3 on the round. A nice little Sheriff upgrade on the way out, and Gen.G pushed to 10. But Mimi, like you noted, that round looked a little different. Unfortunately, it was on the save, but it was okay. Never mind. With weapons back in hand, version 1, they're just gonna go right back to that stack.
Yeah, that they are. I mean, we were just trying to praise them for the change-ups, but they're very insistent on this A site. And for me, Gen.G has been one of the most interesting defensive Breeze teams. In that first Challengers where Breeze was allowed, they were pulling out double Sentinel, right? And investing so much utility forward. Like, I love the adaptations they've made. And while Brimstone, maybe he's not who you immediately think of with this map, they're using him to good effect, because those 20-second sky smokes, it's basically a full minute you can deny halls, but this could go horribly wrong. Dog forward and spray going both ways, but Gen.G able to escape for a moment. Sean with the flash to find Penny, and the rest of V1, they're trapped behind the molly, trapped behind the smoke. Penny has just given that opener away.
Yeah, and it was a 50-50, right? They tried to push with the Sky Smoke or the Molotov came out, and they just completely split the team, and Penny's idea was, let's get aggressive. The rest of the squad, unfortunately, falling backwards, and the Sage, well, meets her demise. So Penny now no longer going to be available, and 1 pip away from the resurrection. Obviously, having that player back on the board in some of these rounds could turn it the other way. So with the player down, version 1, they slow things down for just a second, but they are still looking to end up towards this A side as Effie's gets spotted out to be taken down. The flash goes through. Now, where is Sean? That somebody else is up into the 2, but does he know who? And well, now he does. Zelsis falls, Vanity falls, everybody falls just about. Whippy, the last one standing. And at this Hope with 1v5, hoping to do damage, but instead a flawless round the way of Gen.G. And I did not give enough love to Mikhail here. And on Breeze, I mean, looking phenomenal. That 12-13 scoreline does zero justice for that Cypher.
Yeah, I mean, he had a rough first half, but he's just, it feels like he's doing so much. And his kills in the first half were on the lurks. Very impactful frags to find. Sean, I mean, Sean's just going demon mode right now. It's 3K upon 3K upon 3K. This guy keeps finding his moments with this guy. And for version 1 right now, I feel like you just take the tack. Like, either this round or the next. Get him into the conversation, calm down for a moment and reset. Because right now what they're showing us is not working whatsoever. It's another round where they're posturing out towards A. I'd hope this is a fake or just to draw util, because every time they've committed this site, it's gone completely wrong. Flash through, Zelsa's just trying to run it, but GMD has the molly, has the spray. It's 3 for the Brimstone. V1 again, just getting executed in the spawn. The ult comes forward, all the info given, and with lesser weapons and with Sean on the hunt, he's a bloodhound. He'll find it. And it's Penny alone, match point imminent for Gen.G.
I'm gonna say it. I stumbled there for a second. I didn't want to, but almost we're right next to another flawless in a row. Right, there has not been really an answer. And if you take a peek at the score line, and even if this one ends 13-7, this did not feel like a close game. It felt like Gen.G were in charge for the most part. Penny creeps out once more. It's a 1vx situation for version 1 where they can only hope to find some damage. And we'll off the back end, another flawless, a 4K for GMD. And like you said, Mimi, match point now for Gen.G here on Breeze. 1 round away from closing things out. And at this point, I mean, it feels, who wants an ultimate, right? Gen.G, who needs ult points? Because version 1 are handing them out there. GMD now going to be on that orbital strike. I believe the blades are online. Not quite the Seekers, but that would be like the 3rd or 4th one that we've seen from Sean this game. We have 5 ults across the board for version 1. Timeout still to play with. We just haven't seen anything.
Are they trying A again? I guess they have the ults to work with in this one. They have that Killjoy lockdown. They have the Astro Cosmic Divide as well, so there's resources, but look how passive they are. They're still hoping that Gen.G will get aggressive, but Gen.G, the only place they ever push is out mid. And you see it's happening right now. Sean is already in that position. Kusta's joining him, and that's quite safe because they have this Viper wall there. Every round, Gen.G, they're a squad that's so good at using their utility to keep the fights only the ones that they want to take on this defensive side. And I mean, the buddy system is perfect here as well. 2 out towards mid, 2 towards A. The only sole player in nature has a dash to get back to safety.
Calling my bot.
Nice orbital strike there. And of course, Zelsis back, trying to catch him off guard inside the Trailblazers. Whippy picks up the first kill on the round. So version 1, the bit of wind, make it some more. The gust is coming. The ship is moving. They still have 3 players to worry about. They do have the weapons in their hands necessary. On top of that, the ultimate's still available as the Seeker is the only one used thus far. Penny might be the first to contact. Kusa able to find the head, take him down. Sean will fall. The Viper's pit. And version 1 look to secure another round here. So they're 8th on the board. They'll hang on here on Breeze, and we'll see if Nature can hang on to the operator.
They keep trying to just split A, and I think this is the first time, maybe since that pistol, that we've actually seen success out of it. They find that Hall's control, are able to get that position in towards Switch and isolate the player towards the site. The Seekers in mid too found a lot of impact in that round. Zelsis had the information the entire time and was able to find the frags off of it. Nature just saving here. Something about Gen.G that I love is they're very conservative with their economy. If there's a clutch that they know isn't super winnable and they're already in a good spot, they're just going to save. We saw it in the TSM game. I think the discipline is one of the strong suits of this squad.
Yeah, and there are some Jets out there. You can probably name 2 or 3 with an operator, the knives online, and a 5-round kind of bumper or buffer. That might go for that play. That might go for the content 1v4 in that. But yeah, so that just speaks again to Gen.G just playing their game, keeping it within their means, and controlling what they can control. So it's still an operator in the hands, and you had the credits for it, right? You had the credits for it. You could have bought another one, but you didn't need to because you didn't go for it. So Gen.G just incredibly reserved here, especially on the defense, whereas everybody back on rifles. Across the board, all 10 players as version 1 continue They're trying to hang on here, trying to claw their way back in. This time a different look. A few players out towards mid, but they send them right back. And, oh, the A split. I'm going to go right back to the tube. Okay, no, they're mixing it up here, Mimi.
Ooh. I mean, there's not a lot of util besides that Viper's Orb to hold down B, but Gen.G's rotations are so good. They already have Mikael making his way on over to support Kusta. An execution here could still go wrong. Sean still has the flashes up for the retake, and now both sides wary that there's at least something out towards the B site. The Cosmic Divide will confirm it as it's V1 starting to commit.
And even with that Cosmic Divide, you have so much to clear. That Guiding Light can help, but Mikael still finds 2. They're traded back. So 2 for 2 we go as the wall still proves to be safe haven for now. As an overpulse going to be dodged out on Gen.G. Fancy footwork. Vanity picks up another, but it's traded right back. Back and forth we go here on the B side as the spike goes down. Effie's trying to hold it down right on top of it. But it's Gen.G looking to close things out as Vanity plops down a couple of stars with 2 players to worry about. Nature up on top. Going to use the knives to close us out. Gen.G will secure the bag here on Breeze.
I mean, the scoreline makes it look closer than I think it ever felt it was. That second half was just Gen.G across the board. V1 kept trying to force the matter over and over again out towards that A site. It was just never working for them. I feel like they struggled to adapt quickly in this game. They never really had an emphasis on the map control, which I feel like I talked about, it's something this team is very good at. They're a very kind of cerebral team, right? They play their default. They kind of mid-rounded a lot. They're pretty loose, but it felt like they got stuck into this idea, and I think that's the inexperience on the map showing. This is their first time ever in an official playing it on Breeze.
Yeah, and I think you hit it nail on the head, right? A little bit of experience on the map. That's your first official. You have a go at it. Unfortunately, it doesn't go your way. But moving forward, there are no more surprises, right? Haven and Ascent, the next 2 maps on the table. Obviously, Haven being the first one here. So map 1 down the way of Gen.G. We will see if they can close things out in 2-0 fashion, or version 1 and take us all the way to map 3. Just on the other side of this break.
Your purchase could be free when you use your Credit Karma Visa debit card. Free groceries, free gas, or even a free TV. It's called Instant Karma, and you can only win it from Credit Karma Money. Open your account for free in the Credit Karma app. Credit Karma Money. Progress starts here.